Liam, obviously not the result you were looking for. Just give us your initial assessment overall.
Initial emotion is probably frustration, disappointment. Probably more in the manner of the goals we conceded to lose the game. And then I think reflecting on the performance, I thought for 25 minutes, started extremely well, got good control, played in their half of the pitch like we wanted to. I know when I watch it back, it'll be one of those where it's good control, but how do we now carry more threat, which the lads will learn that. We'll get better at that. I think it then became, especially second half, we played Millwall at their own game, which, when you look at them, quite established, a little bit ahead of in their journey than us. We didn't perform well enough under pressure second half to make it look how we needed to be successful.
And as you say, I mean, they went very close to the top six last season under Alex Neil. They know their own game and they're very good at executing it, aren't they? So if you get dragged into that type of game, it's going to be difficult.
Definitely, and the frustrating bit, the first goal obviously, but frustrating bit, the second goal's on us. It's not even on them and how their style. I think it's just, that's the bit that we spoke about in the changing room. Irrespective of what they do, our basics. We can talk about tactics, but the basics weren't good enough. Some of the decision making wasn't good enough, and we have to own that. We have to take responsibility for that, and we have to make sure that we use it to become better.
Does that ultimately underline, again, this is a process you've said all through pre-season, it's going to take time, and maybe just today is just a reminder, not that you needed it, I'm sure internally, but this isn't an overnight thing, is it? It's going to take time.
Yeah, it is, but we want to accelerate that. I don't want to keep, I just said to the lads in there, of course, under no illusion with, changing myself, or changing, new players, of course. There are elements that are going to take time, but if we want to be successful, we have to, accelerate that. We have to make sure that, going into Tuesday and into next weekend, that we don't repeat the same mistakes, that we quickly learn and get better.
I mean, I'll ask you. I mean, you might not want to offer it at all, but I mean, Cooper, is he slightly fortunate to still be on the pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty openly shut case, really, that one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a yellow card for me, the first one.
Decided to go with Topic from the start today. Clearly, only just come in the building, probably hasn't had a lot of time training wise. But so, what was the thought process there today?
Yeah, I think big part of it was, we know the threat they carry on set pieces. In terms of when you look at with Doughty's delivery, with the threat Cooper carries. And to be fair, I thought we defended him really well. I thought the desire to defend it, and then the setup, the discipline to keep doing it. I actually thought we were strong on defending set pieces today, to be fair. So Miko plays a big part of that. And then just I think the physicality centrally, in terms of knowing what the game looks like, the regains, the transitional element, trying to get a bit of control, given his attributes.
You said all along, really, that when you bring in players, it's not just the players' profile, it's the blend as well, how to complement those around them. Could you start to see what you think could be a nice blend with him and Jacob there in the middle of the park?
I think so, yeah. I think so. And you mustn't forget, people behind it as well, in terms of, Kenny will be back hopefully in a few weeks as well. Nacho, obviously, I think Gibbs has had a good pre-season, so we got competition in those areas. But I think when I look at it, what we have got is we've got blend and we've got balance now as well. So there's definitely bits throughout the team where, like I said, I know when I look back at it, it'll frustrate me even more probably, but I know there'll be some good bits in terms of, some of the defensive structure, some of the way we, played first half. I know there were some good elements. It's just, it wasn't enough and didn't create enough.
Was it, you could see some of the players you could bring on, Chris Garden and Nunes, obviously, and one or two of the other younger lads. Was it a difficult selection for you today, the 11, or, was it really kind of, your mind had already sort of crystallised on that as you went through pre-season?
Yeah, it's the hardest part and the most important part of the job is the team selection for me. It's the bit I spend the most time racking my brains on, because I think, I definitely don't take it lightly in terms of the impact it has on the group and individuals within it. So it's something that, I spend a huge amount of time thinking on. Difficult. We've got competition and we're going to need that, but that's what we need. We need people, quite clear. If you're not at it, if you're not quite at their level, then, we'll wait for so long before, there's someone chomping behind you to take your spot.
You didn't really want to give too much away in terms of who might be the captain today, but, went with Sarge, as you have done in pre-season, and he underlined not just the goal, but his all-round, influence and leadership within this group. Yeah,
he epitomised everything that, for me, we should build our culture on. I think, the way he worked, the goal speaks volumes in terms of he's got no given right to, to score, but his attitude to lead the line, to compete, he had a good scrap with Cooper, I thought, and like you said, probably came out on top, given that, the number of times he was fouled, even the bit at the end there. I thought yeah, I felt for him a bit today because he put on a huge amount of hard work and didn't receive a huge amount of quality.
It's got more if I can. I mean, Forson, I appreciate it's just after the game there. Was that a little knock there that he took? Why he came off there?
Need to check, to be fair. I don't think there's anything serious. I don't. Unless I've got to go and speak to medical. Obviously, I'll speak to the lads straight away, then come out and do this. So we'll review where everybody's at in the coming hours.
And in terms of, again, one or two wasn't involved in your match day today. Jurasek, we saw him sort of doing a bit of running pre-match. Just give us an update where he is in terms of being considered for the match day squad.
Yeah, he's considered. He's part of it. He's, like I said, it's competition. I can't pick everybody. I think it's one of those where, like everybody, they've got to come in and work hard and be ready to go. And that's the same for Mate.
And no Duffy, no Slimani, only because of their more senior players. Is that part of, as you've been very clear, there's a transparent process, and you've sat down, I'm sure, and communicated to certain players who maybe are not in the 20 at the minute that, possibly in this period they're not pushing themselves into your thoughts in terms of the squad?
Yeah, we've had those conversations. I think the lads are quite clear on it. And it's one of those where we'll, like I said, I think in the previous interview, we'll look after them. We'll make sure we give them the work. We'll keep pushing them. Like I said, for me, anyone that's under contract that shows the right attitude, the right level of respect, does things properly, we'll make sure we look after.
Absolutely.
Liam, given the interest in Josh Sargent in the summer, are you planning for both eventualities at the moment, i.e. potentially him staying, and also thinking about all options to who you might bring in case Josh does depart?
Yeah, of course. I think not just with Josh now, I think you do that for every player. I think best practice is to be proactive with the work you do. So, of course, yes, we with the interest that you'd be mad to not do anything behind the scenes to be prepared. So, of course, we want him to stay, but we have to be prepared if it doesn't happen.
And system-wise today, you had your full-backs pushed up and you had your three at the back. Is that your preferred system, or how you envisage ongoing, or will you tweak for each specific game depending on opponent?
No, I think we have to become really good at us, and I think they're quite clear on that. I think when you look at it, the control it gave us first half, I think it was then the basics that probably underpinned it that caused us the issues, not necessarily the shape or the structure. I think the decision making on the ball, or working hard enough to keep it. I think they're the bits that we'll get better at, that will improve. So yeah, it's one of those. No excuses, we weren't good enough, but I also appreciate where we're at, and I know we'll improve and get better.
And 5 debutants at the start and others off the bench. How realistic is it to expect this group side a few more weeks, months to actually gel, and because they're getting used to each other, and some of their foreign players, perhaps the tempo of the championship? How realistic is it? It might be a period of time before we see this side hitting its straps.
I think it's of course time's going to help. Under no illusion it will help, but we have to accelerate it. I think that's the biggest bit. And I think it's really important, of course. Everybody, rightly so, should feel the emotion of disappointment of losing a game and the way we did second half. But for me, I'm still delighted to be. I'm still excited. I'm still, seeing the group every day. The ceiling's high, the potential's there. We have to keep everybody focused. We have to make sure we carry no hangover into next week. Like I said, you have to go home, be frustrated, be disappointed, but you have to come in, be ready to work next session.
I think just one from me around Mirko, a good 70 minutes he played in as well. I saw a lot of ball in the first half. Is that sort of part of the thinking to try and get involved in the centre?
Yeah, I think we need everybody to want to take the ball, handle the ball, deal with the ball. I think he showed some really good level moments. I thought first half, the one where he picked it up and drove through the middle of the pitch. That's not a one-off. He'll do that, repeatedly. He's someone that we're delighted to be able to bring here. He's someone that will continue to grow as he understands the division and relationships with other lads. So yeah, we're delighted to have him here. I think some really solid aspects to the game today that will help him grow. Thank you.
Thanks, Donny. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. Thank you.